do a revision of, we'll just revise what we've done so far, and just to be sure that everybody's on the same page. And then if you guys have had like any issues implementing stuff on your project, you can let me know. So let's just start from where we started from.
Sorry, first off, have you gone through our work?
No, I have not.
Okay.
But I'll go through it today so that today/tomorrow.
Okay.
So you guys already know how Django works, like why you should use Django, or what Django can help you to do, and like Django's design pattern. Yeah, so
we're evolving the knowledge. Yes.
Yeah, what?
I said we're evolving knowledge of what Django can actually do for us.
Okay, so you guys remember Django's design pattern? Does anybody remember?
MVT, model view template.
Okay, so what does the model help you do?
The model helps you integrate with database, create records and tables and users, or rather I say users, and tables and database, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about Peter? What about the view?
The view is used to handle what the users say when they click on the link. We use the view to implement the tables on the back end, to implement it so the users can see what we're working on.
Okay, so yeah, so like the way you have different views on your application, you can have any number of views. So you can have the home view, you can have the detail view, you can have a view for your form. So view is what is going to say, okay, I want this particular template to be displayed to the user. It may or may not require tasks like database manipulation, like fetching data from database and then sending it to the view or binding it to a template. So it might just serve up a template, or it might still perform some logic and then bind it to a template. So yeah, and then the template is just like the structure of how the web page will look like. So yeah, okay. So we also talked about using a virtual environment, like why it is important for you to use a virtual environment, because it helps to isolate your project. And you guys, I'm sure you guys already do that. So
yes. Can I ask a question?
Yes.
While going through some stuff online, when starting an app, a project, when starting a project, that we should include a dot at the back, so when we want to, I don't know, migrate online, maybe move the database online, to be easy. But
you should include a what?
Like when I want to start a project, it will be Django admin start project. Let's say the project is a blog, it will be blog, then dot at the back to make it easy to migrate database online. That part is not clear, because the videos I've been seeing, some they do it that way and then others don't. Like the manage just PY file is not always in the same folder structure with our app. But here we do it that way, that the manage the PY file is in the same folder structure with the app. Is there not going to be an issue later?
Okay, so the manage.py is in the same as the project. Like, so if you create a project, the outer directory, that is where the manage.py is. So I really don't know why they said that, but it also depends on how you plan to deploy your database. So some people might even say they don't want to have their database in a virtual machine, and they want to let me not say virtual machine per se. So they don't want to have it in a remote instance. They want to have it in a cloud storage. like maybe on AWS or any other cloud storage. So if you do that, you just have to connect to the URL of your database inside of your settings file. And like that does that for you. But if you want to like configure it inside of the, let's say inside of a virtual machine, I think that process is a bit different. So I really don't know why they said that, but maybe when we get to the point where you deploy, so you can even say you want to deploy on a platform like Heroku, and then you don't need to start configuring all of that. But then as we go ahead, maybe I'll understand what you mean, Sha.
Okay.
But then it just depends on where you are deploying, how you are deploying. Okay. So we also for now we're not using a proper database. We're using a file-based database. So we did not configure anything in our settings file. But for your main project, you will need to use maybe PostgreSQL. Okay, so then you also learn how to create models. Yeah, and then how to activate your apps. So if you want, after creating your application, if you want Django to recognize your application, what do you need to do?
You register the app on the settings.py file.
Good.
There's a space where you register the app there.
What's the space?
Yeah, like this, I'm coming from the in the installed apps, we
Yes.
can register our
Yes.
apps there.
In the installed apps, you add your own app to the list of apps that are already there that have been created by Django by default. Okay, so when you want to create the tables that you've already specified, or say you make changes in your models, what command do you run to let Django know that, okay, these changes have been made and I want them to be seen in my database?
The make migration and the migrate.
So the make migration is just saying, okay, I've made changes with Django. I need you to know that I've made changes. And then Django creates a file off of that. And then when you say migrate, those changes will now like reflect inside of your database. So that's that. Okay. So we also learned how to render templates. So where do you keep what is the best practice for keeping or organizing your templates?
The template folder, then we create another folder that is in the name of our app inside the templates folder. So it's in that second folder that the HTML file is.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So create a template folder inside of your app. You put another subdirectory, the name of your app, and then store your templates there. What about static files?
Static files. Is that what you asked? Oh, okay. The root directory of your project.
So it's the same process. Inside of your app, still create a static folder, then put in your namespace, your static files, and then put them there. So that's just that. It's still the same process. So for rendering templates, if you want to render a template, you can go the long route or you can use a shortcut. Yeah, the render shortcut. And you can use it to render your templates. Okay. I also talked about we also learned about the Django admin dashboard. So I said that I showed you how to create a super user so that in order to access the admin dashboard. What's the command for that? Do you guys remember the command for creating a super user?
Yeah, Python manage.py create super user.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So then we now also did, that's correct. So we also did we also learned a bit about how to manipulate data. So you want to fetch data from your database for, let's say, from a particular table. So the name of that table or models, sorry, the objects or all to fetch all of data. And if you want to use the get method, and then you pass in any of the attributes you want to use to get. You want to use to get that object or that record. And then we also said like it's best practice to not hard code your URLs. So what is better for us to do? What is the best thing for us to do instead of hard coding our URL and saying /blog/ so and so? Does anyone know? So it's better to namespace our URL names. So you just use the name of that view, and then Django will know which particular view to display. So how do you namespace your URL names? Do you remember?
Like, how do we namespace our URL names in template, right?
No, if you want to give your URLs you want to namespace your URLs, how do you do that?
Okay, you go to the URLs file, and under the URL pattern list, you create a path file with and the path, then the view to display, then the name attribute.
Okay, so like that's basically creating a path, like adding a path to the URL conf. So what you do is you just add app name, and then you say the name of the app. So you just define before the URL configuration, the list, you just write app underscore name is equal to the name of your app. And so inside of your templates, you just use your URL template tag. Then if you want to put in the URL, the name of the URL, you put the name of the app that you provided inside of the URL file first, and then colon, and then the name of the view. Yeah. Okay. So I think that's that.
I'm sorry, Corey. Can you go through that again?
Okay. So let me just come back to my screen. Who's chatting?
And by the way, we're not seeing your screen, though. Hope
Yeah.
you're aware.
Okay. Okay. So here's your house. Okay. Let's just log out. Okay. Where is our template? So just like this. So you put the name of the app. So like this is your URLs. This is the app name is equal to blog. Then inside of here you put in the name of the app first, and then the name of the view. Yeah. Okay. So let me see. Okay. So we did a bit. So here I wanted to like show you guys like the other things you can do with the Django's, or you can filter through your database. You can you can find the number of if you want to know how many, like in our case now we are using posts. So if you want to know how many posts you have inside of your inside of your post table, you can use the post or count method. So let me just go back and clear that. So here already in this place, I already initiated the shell, the Django shell. And then let me just use post is equal to post dot objects. So okay, post is going to be like the list of all of your posts. So if you want to count how many posts you have there, you can say learn post. So this learn is Python's it's a Python function. This learn post is a Python function. So it is Python that is going to like count the number of posts for you. But if you want to do it from the database, let's say you want it to be done by the database, which is faster, you can use what count method. So you just do post dot count. Okay. So you can also like filter through your in my case now, I only have just one post. So I can still say, okay, I want to filter through by category. Let's say I have beauty, fashion, and others, tech. I can say, okay, post is equal to post or objects dot filter, and I want to filter by category. The category for me is the only category I have is beauty, so I'm going to just use beauty. And then when you print out, like it just shows the ones with category one. Let's see if we don't have, let's say one technology, like you have an integer set there, because like that post I had there is not in category called technology. So that's that. Then you can also like there's this values method. So let's say we have, let's suppose is equal to category called beauty. Say post dot values. So this values method returns a dictionary object. So this is like very it's good for optimization, because when you fetch the data now, what will happen is it is going to be turned into a Python object. So if you don't want that, you just want it to like return just a dictionary of all the process of converting your query set, or like the records that have been gotten. It's just like return a dictionary object. And that's if you are fetching lots of data on, or you want to use lots of data on your template, kind of like makes it very fast for you. So yeah, that's that. But then like it's still like the same, it still contains the same kind of data that is inside. So if you go post 0, so you do post 0 dot ID. So like as long as it's still the same, I mean it's the same model, so it's still going to like return the same kind of thing. Yes. It's going to still return exactly the same kind of attributes that you have inside of your Python model. So okay. So there's also the order by. So the order by helps you to order your records in ascending order. But then if you do something like if you do order by and you use a negative, like you use a negative sign before the attribute you want to order by. So let's say you want to order by ID and you use a negative, it's going to do it the other way around. That's in descending order. Okay. So there are still like there are downsides to using values. So if you want to use values, we've not gotten to where we use foreign keys and many fields. So if you want to use values, it's more preferable when you are using it when you are just using like a flat flat structure, like flat database structure. Not like when you have foreign keys, like you have a table related to another table or something like that. It costs some and the kind of data you get, you might not really like it. So I think we'll check that out, Sha, when we are doing relationships. Not like doing relationships, but when we're doing foreign keys, many fields. So you just be careful when you're doing that, when you're using values. Okay. Mandy.
Okay, so I have a question here. When you launch PowerShell, right, like the Python shell, right, is there any other thing you need to do to start accessing models?
You just import the model. So like when you inside there, you're inside your project, like the inner project. So you just call the module you want to get the models from. So in our case now, blog is the module. So you just say blog.models. So from blog.models import. I just did from blog.models import star. So it's just import everything inside
In
of
the
there.
shell. In the
In
shell,
case I
right?
have more than one model, I want.
In the
Yes.
shell, right?
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so like there are still other so I'm just going to give you a link to the reference, the query set API reference. So guys, what's going on? Okay, just I don't know if I clicked on something, sure, but it's also like model/query sets. Okay, that's that. So there are still many of them, like you might not even use all of them. So like for you to delete a particular, the one you would like likely use is delete. So you use delete to delete a particular post. So what happens is like filter returns a list, like a list of records. Doesn't return just one record. So if you just go and do post or delete, okay, it's going to delete all of them, I guess. Okay, so you just delete all of them. So there's one other scenario I was trying to remember. Okay, so also when you want to update, so I don't have any post again, so I can't show you guys update. So when you want to update, let me just see if I can create another one. Okay, so also please, before I forget, you can use list slicing. You can use list slicing, that slicing operator. You can use it to slice your query set that is returned to you. Okay, so let me just create another one. It was again category. Okay. Argument. Okay. Can you see what I'm doing here? Okay. So let's say you want to edit a post. So you've gotten the post already. Like in this place now, we already have a post inside of our post variable. So you want to edit the post. I want to say post.title or post.content is equal to so you just edit that, but you need to save it. So if you don't save it, it will not get like stored in your database. Yeah, what did I do? Okay, so post or content will now be updated. So but like if you want to, you can use an update method. You can that's on the query set. So so like like a list of records. So if you filter through, you can say post dot object or filter, and then you filter all of them. Then you can now use the update. You can use the update method. If you now do dot update, the update method is in the class, is not in, you cannot use it for an object like for a particular record, but you can use it for the model class, for the model, that is in our case now post. So you can use that update method on post, but you cannot use it on an instance of post. So if you filter through it and then you just do the updates and then you say what you want to update inside of the update method, it will update all of them. So if instead of going through that route, like if you don't plan to like if you don't plan to update all of them, like so you don't have issues or make a mistake, you can number one, which I don't know if it's a very good idea. So number one, you can filter by a unique field like an ID, because like an ID is unique. So you can filter by an ID and then use the update method, or you can just do this, get that particular object that you want to update and then update it like so. So that will like help you to like avert some kind of unnecessary problems. So that's that. So there are also like field lookups. So you want to search by something that is inside of the field, like the text content of your fields. There are so many methods for you to use. Okay. So let me just close this up. Okay. Let's see here. So we were using what do you call it? We're using function-based views, and then we learned about class-based views and generic views. So generic views are still under class-based views. So if you want to use views, like you want to use the base view for class-based views, so like you don't want to use a generic view like this. It depends on what you want to do actually. So you don't want to use a generic view like this. You can just use like a plain or the base one, like the base class. So okay, let me just go ahead. So you just say in this case now, I want to convert our function-based view into a class-based view. So I'll say from Django.views import view. Okay. So the normal syntax, you use your normal class syntax. You say class. Let's just call this view create post. Create post. Yeah. And then it's going to inherit from view. So what is beautiful about class views is, you know, in this function-based view, we had to be doing if request or method is equal to get, if it's equal to post, or whatever HTTP verb we want to target. So like that will you just keep doing if and if and if, and I mean it's not very organized. So with class-based views, they have function methods. They have methods that target each of the HTTP verbs that you likely use. So you have to just say def create the method def get or def post or def whatever verb you want to use. So let's say def get. What's the next thing that is going to come inside of my get method for a normal class when you're creating normal class method?
The self parameter.
All right, so it takes in like in our normal function-based view, it takes in a request, and then you can put all of your what do you call it? You can put all of your logic inside of here. You can also do def post. Takes in request again. This one, like the one you have here, this one, it's a class-based view. All we do is we just say form, we just bring this one in. So let me just move everything like this. Like this. So form equal create post form, this, yeah. And then we just remove this one. And then put it here. So you can clear this. Is it throwing an error? Cannot import name create. Okay, that's inside of the URLs. Okay. So inside of your Django URL, so let's just go here. So our Django URL, we don't have create anymore, so we have to call it create post like this. So your Django URL resolver, I think I said this before, it expects to send the user request to a function that can be called, not like a class, not a class, because you can't call the class. And so you need to expose that function. You need to expose that. You need to be able to. How do I say it? You need to be able to use a method that can be called when a request comes in. So that's the asView method. So when we say create post, we have to use asView method so that the request function can be passed. So this particular function is going to now, please close your man. Okay. So our asView method is now going to initialize a function or a method called setup to initialize variables, and then that method is now going to initialize a dispatch method. So that dispatch method is what's now going to start looking through all of your, like, it's to know what kind of request is coming. if it's a get request or a post, and then it's now like look through all of these and say, okay, it's a get request, so we're going to use this get method. Yeah. Okay. So
Please, can you
this
come
is
again?
like
What you
basically how
said.
you can transform your. Okay. So I said that for your in your URLs, your how do I put this? Okay, so we've been using function-based URLs as well. So your URL is expecting to send your request. A request gotten from the function. I what we did before. So now, but then we are using classes now. So you need to use an assume method so that method can return a function which will now be called when a request comes in. So the assume method returns a function that can be called, and like your request comes in. So what I was saying about a dispatch method is the dispatch method is a method that matches the request that's coming in. So if a request is a get method or a post method, it's not look for what's like it's look for a matching method inside of your class view. So if it's a get method, you look for get and say, okay, this is get, this is the method that should be initialized here, or that should be called. It's a post. It will look for it like this. It will use this post method. So just based on the method, so you can create methods that match HTTP verbs, get, post, delete, put. Now. So like that. Okay. So now what we want to do now is we want our, when we were creating, I don't know if I clear, so Mendy. Is Mendy still here?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's
So
back.
I guess is for but then what else to be like real users that can come application and say, okay, I want to create a post, and they can truly register and then create their post. So we cannot really have. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're back. And besides, your voice was breaking for like 5 minutes.
Hello, guys.
So,
Oh my. And the last message I saw was, I thought you were gone anyway. Sorry about that. Where did I even stop? What was the last thing I said?
Your voice is breaking.
It's still breaking.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. Oh, God. Show my Wi-Fi. What about now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's better. It's a bit better now. Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like where what was the last thing I said?
Well, before I left the call, I think what you said, you were done explaining the get method in the class in the create post view.
In the create post view.
In the create post class rather.
Okay. All right, so let me just reshare my screen. Okay, so I was saying, I can't remember. I can't remember if I said everything I needed to say then, but was I able to answer your question? Because that was like the last thing. That was the last thing you. That was the last thing
Yes,
I.
yes, you were able to. Yeah, you were able to.
Okay, so I was saying like in our models, in this our post model, we created an author field, which is going to like just taking, let's say, the name of the author. But then we don't just want to be manually creating authors. Like we want the authors to come and register on our site, and then we have an author as a user. So Django provides a way for us, like it provides a complete system to manage our user needs, or should I say authentication needs. So that's like the Django authentication system, or should I just say, let me just say Django authentication. So Django authentication provides a way for you to authenticate users and to authorize them. So authenticate are you really who you say you are? Provide a password or whatever, and then authorize as per you can view this, or you can do this on this application, or you cannot do this and that. So everything together is referred to as Django's authentication system. So there's no, they're just like coupled together, because I think some things depend on others. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want since we've not, like, let me just leave this. Should I change anything now? Let me leave this for now. Let me first talk about how we can, let's first create a way for our users to come and register on our site. So Django provides a way for us to like quickly just quickly roll out authentication. So you can quickly create a registration form and allow your users to register. So first, I created a sign-up form. So the sign-up form, let's see, I don't have any sign-up form yet. So we're going to create a sign-up form, and then we're going to pass it inside of this place. Yeah. We don't have the form yet. So I'm seeing forms of why. Okay, that form. All right. So we can create our own form ourselves. So like we can do our form ourselves from scratch. But do we want to do that? Okay, I don't think we want to do that. So let me just quickly talk about how we can use Django's Django's built-in um, authentication. Okay, so we have in Django we have user objects. So we can have like super users, like we created now. We can have super users, we can have admin staff. So but primarily they are just user objects. And the difference between them is one person has an attribute that says, okay, you are admin, or you are a super user, or you are a staff. So for admin, you can have something like, I think for admin, we have an is admin attribute, is staff attribute for admin staff. And you can also like extend your own. You can also extend the Django user object to like to make it fit into what you are planning to create. So the primary attributes are username, password, email, first name, and last name. But basically, you just need like a username and password to start that off. Just like when we were creating our super users, the only thing the only thing we were prompted to input is our username and then password, which we entered twice. Okay, so for us to create users, we have a create user method, which will come to. But before we do that, let's first create our sign up form. Okay, inside of our views, let me just put here. So instead of our views, what we're going to do is, this looks somehow. Okay, instead of our views, we'll just say from Django.contrib.auth.forms. We want to import a user creation form. So this user creation form is just a very simple form that allows you to put in, allows your user to put in their, let's see, their username, okay, their username, password, and then a password, like a repeat of the password that they entered. Okay, so does somebody want to say something? Okay, all right, so we're just going to have something like this again. We're going to just call it a sign up class, and then it's going to just inherit from view. So there is something called a form view where you can, like, it's still part of Django's class-based views. So you can create a form view and you just specify the name of the form, like the form template, and then you pass it. So it has some other methods that can help you to quickly get data from, but for now we'll just use a base view. So when we get a get request, what we want to do is, okay, what we want to do is we want to render a template. So render sign up.html, and then we want to pass in a form. So the form is just going to be our, where is it again, user creation form. It's going to be an instance of the user creation form, empty data, and then we want to put it inside of the context. So I'm just going to create the context here and just pass it like this. So let me call it sign up form. So sign up form. Then we'll just pass in our sign up form. No, let me just call it this form. Okay, like this. So inside of our URLs, we're going to add sign up. And then we'll add a path for that. So it's just going to be /sign up, and we'll have our sign up view. So we'll have sign up as view, and the name will just be sign up. Yeah. What else do we need to do again? Instead of our sign up there, we have a sign up form. Okay. So let's see what it looks like. Just give me a second. Let me start up the server. Okay, so let me share my screen. So what this is what it looks like. So we've already added some CSS some style into it. That's why it looks like this. So it should just be a normal plain template that you can style yourself. So Django would add all of these. No, don't stop share. Okay. Okay, so Django is going to add all of these things to let your users know what is required. 150 characters of your letters, digits, and this only. And then your password cannot be too similar to your personal information, all of this other stuff. So, but then it's just username, password, and password confirmation. Yeah. So let's try to create an account and see what happens. Okay, so username, we just have Tegalicious, and we'll have password. Okay. Password confirmation. Then we'll do sign up. Says the page is not working. Why is the page not working?
Because we've not specified a post method or a class sign up.
Very cool. So now let's do that. So let's have a post method. So what do we want to happen when our user what do you call it? When our user submits his form.
Validate the inputs, then if it's correct, send him to the index page or prompt him to actually input the right things.
Okay, so let's just do forms. Let's create this form, but this time it has a request dot post data inside of it. Sorry. So if form is valid, want to do so and so. So if the form is valid, where would data be stored? If the form is valid, inside which
The user model.
Hmm?
The user model.
No, now. Like if the form is valid now, we want to access, like when the form is validated, it's going to store the data inside an attribute. What do we call that attribute?
Wait, is it sessions?
Hmm?
Sessions.
No, not sessions now. You've not even logged in, safe talking about
Sessions.
sessions. You're still creating the guy. Okay, so it will be stored inside the cleaned data
Oh, okay.
data attribute. So, but then I think this user creation form it's created off of the what do you call it, of the user model. So if it is a model form, then we can just say form.save. So let's see if that works. If it doesn't work, then we'll have to start creating it one by one. So I think it should work. So if form is valid, we'll just say form.save. I remember I said something like this. Do you guys remember? That you can use if you use a
last
model
class
form.
you did. Yeah.
So that's what we'll just do. And then we want to just redirect the user to redirect our user home. So let's import redirect first. Just where is shortcuts? Okay. So form.save and return redirect to home. Okay. Let me see. So if the sign up form is not valid, what should we do? What should we do?
Prompt the user to sign up again now with valid, or send an error. Use that message.
Okay, so we'll just say else. Let's keep the else, but else, just let's create a new form. Yes. So actually, we can even just put this form here. That's right. I don't want to put self. Okay, let me just leave it here first. I'll just say form support user creation form and return it again. Okay, so let's see. Just give me a second. Okay, so let me share my screen so that you guys can see. I type that correctly. Okay, create post form has no. It's actually it's actually a base form. Okay, so let's just go back and it's a base form. So we have to create our. We have to like get the data ourselves. Okay, so we'll just say if the form is valid, since it's not a model form, just tell it true. So say username is equal to form dot clean data username password confirmation. The password and password too. Okay. So we said we can use this users dot use. You can use the create method to create a user. So we'll just say user dot user the object of create user. So if you want to create a super user, you use create super user. That's the username, password, one. Okay, password and password confirmation. Okay. I think it just saves that since we've done objects of create user. So let's see. Sign up. Okay. 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 Form has no attributes, cleaned data. Boy. Okay, so see again. Okay, let's try again. Let's see if that created it inside of. Okay, so missing CSRF token. Okay, so this has this thing does not capture the token that was sent, so it will not create it. Okay, but then the save method should work. Let me try again. Because we didn't collect the token that was sent. Oh, I can't just type rubbish. Okay. So something is wrong then. Okay, let's check this out. Let me just look at this little bit first. It redirects me to the sign up form. This form select, show form not save. So it's not valid. Okay, I have a problem. Maybe there's something I'm skipping. So that means the form is not valid. So let me just print out something. Okay. So I made a mistake. I removed the request. I removed the request. I removed the form with the request of post from inside of the if statement. Sorry. No, should be correct now. Let's just print out what is inside of the form then. Let's see what is inside of the form. Okay, just okay, so the form is likely not valid. So it could be the data I am entering. Maybe something is not correct. Let me try again. Type carefully. Okay, it's the same data. So why is the user not saved? Or maybe because the user already exists. So let me delete this user and try again. Okay. Still doesn't create a user. Hmm. So I'm getting a, what is this? It's giving me post 200. So what was the problem? There's something I'm not doing right. Just give me a minute to sort this out. Don't have much time anymore. So I'm supposed to like extend our form again, so it's not much time. Okay, wait, Mandy.
I was going to find out, is the form valid? Like when you print
No,
out, is it valid?
likely the data I'm passing or
Okay, because I was thinking, is there could it be that you didn't add HTTP response with that?
I
So
didn't know how to add what.
on your first if statement, could it be that that you didn't add HTTP response redirect then home?
No, it has not even gotten to the point of saving
They're
the
not going to
data,
that
so
place. Oh, okay.
I can't say it is the redirect thing.
Oh,
So it has not even got. If I print form is valid,
right.
it's false. So it's likely the data I'm passing. And,
Yeah, I get you perfectly. Yeah, I do.
so I don't know.
Is there a way we can actually create via the admin, then probably proceed, then probably later you show us?
Okay, yeah, we can do that. But this is like, I don't know why this is not working anyway.
It's fine. It's fine. We can relate.
Still saying false. Okay. All right. So maybe we should just do that. So we don't just like get stuck here. Okay. And then it treats it nicely on the dashboard. Sure, there's an error somewhere, Sha. Okay, so what we can, let me see. Okay, so before we find a way to solve that, like we would like our users to have like extra fields to put in their names, because like that was what we did in the first instance when we had a field for author, like now in our models. So we want our authors to have names. So we can add an extra field. But what we can do is we can extend this user creation form. Okay. Today should not be buggy. Okay. So inside of our forms, close this up. Close. Okay. So inside of our forms, we'll just import this user creation form, and then we'll create our own form. So let's just call it the sign up form like this. To inherit from the user creation form. Sorry, from forms.form. Okay, why are we even bringing this user creation form? Okay, user creation form. Then we want to because this user creation form is already a model form, we will just like use the user model. Like since we are inheriting from user creation form, the user model, like it will seem like we're creating a model form, but then we'll extend it. So here we'll just create a meta class, and the model is going to be our default user model. So the default user model is inside of django.contrib.auth.models. We'll just import the user model. So then now the way it is like this is still like the user creation form, but then we want to add extra fields like name. Maybe we just say full name. And then we'll just do we want to have what do you call it? Do we want to have like some kind of restrictions? Do we want our full name to be a particular number of do we want it to not exceed a particular number of characters? So just define that here, and then maybe we don't want it to be. Can just go to our models. Okay, we don't have a user model, but then let's say we don't want it to be more than 60 characters. Then let's say we want the label to be full name, and so on. So label should be full name like this. So then we've extended the user stuff, the user creation form, like we can do all of these. But then if you want to let's say you want to customize your let's say your Django user model, you want to customize the user model. So if you don't want all of this, you can just tell it you don't want maybe password 1, password 2, like password confirmation, you just want password, or you want your user to be identified by their email. you can customize this form here. You can even tell Django to you can even tell them to exclude a particular field. So you just say the fields you want to exclude inside of here. Or if you want only a particular kind of, or if you want just like username and password to show, you can just say fields is equal to, and then you name your fields. Those are the only fields that are going to show. All right, so let's import this inside of our views.py. What do we call it? Sign up form. Sign up form. And then we'll use sign up form. Let's see. Instead of the user creation form we used before, we're going to use sign up form. So in this case now, when we are sending the form back to the user, we'd likely not want the user to start from scratch. We just want them to still have the data that was inside of their forms before. So maybe their username can be there instead of an empty form. So we send what was inside the post data back to them. Okay. So let's see what that looks like now. Okay. So now we have the full name. Now we have the full name field. Now we have the full name field there. Okay. So it's saying the user with that username already exists. So let me try to create another user. Just cooking. This password is too common. So is that the issue? God. Okay. For home found. Okay, we've gotten to the point of redirect. The password is too short. So maybe it was giving error and I was not taking note of that in the first place. Okay. So I think at least now it saves our user. So that's like one error one. Okay. So let me just delete these ones. Okay, so let's fix this our reverse URL. So what we can do is Django has a way for us to log in users. So back to what you're saying about sessions. So Django can help you Django has a login method. I think from still all of them is still inside the auth module. So from Django.contrib.contrib .auth import login. Yes. So we can use this method to log our users in when they are saved. So you just pass in the request and you pass in the user you want to log in. And then inside of your settings file, let me share my screen. So inside of your settings file, you can put in a login redirect URL, something like this. But then if you're let me just change this to login. So, but then if you are let's say it is from your, this is like the project settings. So you need to say which namespace. You need to put the namespace or the app. Yeah, that should be the same name. So you should put in the name of the app that you use to, or let's say the app name of that you use to namespace that URL configuration. Do you guys all know what I mean by the app name, Abby?
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Your app
So,
name is blog. Yeah, that's why you use blog, right?
yeah, so that's it. So let me try to log in again. Okay. Let me see if I already, I'm sure I deleted already, so yes, I'm sure now. Okay. So let's try again and see if we're going to get the request from home is not a valid view or pattern name. I think we load. Show my user already created. Okay, again. Let me just go to blog and reload. Okay, so sign up. The password is too similar to the username. The password is too common. What else will I now use now? Okay, reverse for home not found. Home is not a valid view of function pattern. No, I did not even close that one up. Okay, this is the last one. Hey God, what is going on? The password is too similar to the username. Hey God, you guys should just use another password. That maybe I'm the one that is thinking of one passwords in my life. Let me try again. Okay, finally. Okay, I used a different password. So then I think it has to do with the kind of data you are sending to your that you're putting inside of your form. So what's that one right now? I think we should just like be we should just be mindful of the kind of data we are sending. But then I mean, if you don't want to, you can have those kind of checks, but if you don't want to, have those if you don't want that, you can create your own form from scratch. Well, I don't know if that I don't it depends on what you want to do, Sha. So you can create your form from scratch, or you can what do you call it? Or you can override some methods. So let me see if I can get a link. Okay. Check inside of here. So I think I'll just get like the link to the user creation form. See if that can come out. So we can customize it ourselves if we do not want to use Django's authentication. Did somebody drop a link? I said just have sense now. Come on. Okay, so there's this authenticate method that you can use, that you can override if you do not want to use Django's method of handling authentication. And then there's also a way for you to, there are like 3 different ways for you to extend the Django's user model. So you can use an abstract based user, and then a proxy, I think a proxy user also. So like the ones that people usually use are abstract based user and abstract based user, really, because you can really customize that one. You can also use abstract user. You will just like build on top what is already there, like in the default user model. So I'm just going to drop the link because that's like what you are going to use in real life situations. You will not be using Django's president's wife. I want to be a president's wife now. Okay, so you guys are in the real sense. You're not going to be using Django's built-in user model, but for the sake of this tutorial, we'll just use it. But then I have a sample that you can use to follow, that you can just use. It's not very hard to create that one. Okay, what did I want to I wanted to say something before we go. Okay, so we're supposed to have in our model, we're supposed to have our author. We want our author to have let me see if I can reshare. We want our author to be a user. So since we already have a user model, we can create a relationship between our author and our let me not say our author. You can create a relationship between our posts and our user. So we can, if we create a one-to-one relationship with our post and our user, it means that one user to one post and then one post to one user. But then we likely want our user to have many posts. So we can use a foreign key field. It's like a many-to-one kind of relationship where in this our case now, a user can have many posts or can create many posts. So we'll just import that our Django default user. Okay. So we want to have a many-to-one kind of relationship. So Django uses a models.foreign key like this, and then you just specify which model you want to use inside of that. Is that an error? Okay, so when you specify a many-to-one field like that, you need to say what will happen if that record or that user is deleted. So if you delete your user now, if we delete our user, what do we want to happen? Do we want all their posts to be deleted, or do we want their posts to remain? What do we want?
Well, I think it's related. If you delete a user, we can just leave their post. We can leave their post.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or okay, we can leave their post then. So we can say the same models of cascade is going to like flush everything out. So we can say models of protect. So it's going to just protect all their posts. So I think that's what we want. So it's just going to be something like this. But then if you are the one creating your own user model, you will not need to do this importation now. You just maybe define your model up here, your user model up here, and then use it inside of here. Okay. So I was thinking that since your project is going to require you guys to to work together, then you guys can start working on something now. So you can just like explore, because I believe you are going to use authentication in whatever project you're going to be working on. So I think we can just have an app that manages all accounts, or should I say all the users, everything concerning users, all user related what do I call it? Anything that is user related. So we can have a separate app inside of our website to manage authentication. So I'm thinking you guys can just work on creating that app together. So that app is just going to be for authentication, like anything related to accounts. And when you said you guys are like 6, Abby, like the ones you've been keeping in contact
The ones
with.
I'm giving tabs, at least the ones you review their work, their stage 4 work.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
outside those ones, I don't know of any other person. Right.
Are we even up to 6?
Well, myself, you, Emmanuel, this guy, Python Slayer. I've not spoken to the other ladies, though I don't know. It's only I'm Bisoro, and she's been busy like lately. But so I think it's myself, you, Emmanuel, and Python Slayer.
Maybe there should be a separate track where we can know ourselves, all the Python devs, so that we can know each other. Because most times, apart from Mendy and Python Slayer, I'm this way. I don't think I know any other. Okay, I know Emmanuel too. I don't think I know
Okay.
any other person.
So maybe this is an opportunity for you guys to reach out to each other and work on this together. Yeah.
Okay. I was going to ask you, as regards submission, the last place, the last tax, how many persons submitted? Is there a was a list of everybody who actually submitted?
Is it
So I
only
probably
one?
look at, like, for state 4 tax, right? Is there a way you can give us the list of those who actually, the names of those who actually submitted, so we can actually reach out to them and what's up? Probably
Okay,
that
those
will
are the
step.
people you mentioned. Those are the people you mentioned.
Oh, just the guys,
Yeah,
persons
just
with tax. Oh,
yes.
okay. All right, that's fine.
Okay, so we can do that. Like, so what we're just going to be looking at, I think we're still going to look at other things like forgot password, reset password, log out. I added a I added a like inside the URLs, I added I think I've removed it already. Okay, I added a logout view before. So, okay, this one. So I did a logout view before. So if someone clicks on the logout button, you can just like get logged out. And then I added the logout redirect URL. So we can just look at that together. And I think next week you guys should start working on something. But then if you are going to if you are going to be creating a user account manager, it should just be not manager. So if you're going to creating an app for user accounts, it should be using Django's abstract base user. Should be inheriting from that. So that one is more versatile compared to this, compared to what we just used, like the default user model. I'll drop like what do you call it? I'll drop extra instructions, all of the instructions.
Okay, it will be next week, right? Not this weekend.
No, not this weekend. You work. I will drop it so you can start looking at it together. I don't know, organize yourself. Maybe organize a report and talk to yourself so you know how you go about the task. So by next week you can submit.
Okay.
All right. All right. So
Uh,
this is what did you say?
I want to ask, when will our own promotion to stage 6 start? Because it looks like we are the only one remaining in that stage 5 track. Oh.
Don't worry, you guys will soon move forward. Why are you scared? Don't
A
worry.
little, but I've been
No,
saying stage 7 and we are still in stage 5.
don't worry. Today or tomorrow, you guys will be moved.
Karen,
Yeah.
I want to officially ask you that, however it is, you just probably touch on REST framework when we're done with every.
Yeah, that's what I'm even thinking because Eke was talking about you guys like your backend is what is going to is going to be used by like dual code. So yeah, no problem.
Okay, so we're going to do that, right?
I'm
So
not getting what you're
you
saying.
now brought it in
What is
the
going on?
council of elders so that I will say yes.
What is going on? Oh?
When you go,
I'm lost.
when you go.
Don't mind Mendy. He's now we are just doing Django, like full Django application. So he's talking about building REST APIs with Django, with the DRF library. So he now called me out on social media so that I'll respond. October is already
At
dirty.
least
No,
it's going to make you respond positively now. So
October is already dirty. All right, bye bye. I think this is where we'll stop.
yeah, thank you. Enjoy the weekend, guys.
All right, bye.
Yeah.